Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're getting straight into it. We're looking at two really popular Canon full-frame mirrorless cameras, the R5 and the R6 Mark II. Our mission, to help you figure out which one is actually the smarter investment for your professional work. So the R5 landed back in July 2020, and it was a big deal, right? Really pushed the envelope for the RF mount, 8K video, massive resolution. A real flagship.
Absolutely. It set a benchmark. Then fast forward about 2 years, November 2022, and the R6 Mark II arrives. And its focus feels a bit different, less about just raw specs, more about refinement, operational speed.
Exactly. So that's the core conflict for anyone deciding between them, isn't it?
It really is. You got to ask yourself, what's your priority? Is it getting that absolute maximum resolution, the cutting edge stuff like 8K, maybe for really controlled situations? That's kind of the R5's pitch. Or are you looking for something that's maybe more about speed, efficiency on the job, better performance when the lights get low, and frankly, maybe better overall value? That's where the R6 Mark II really shines. We need to, unpack the real differences.
Okay, let's start with the most obvious thing, resolution, pixels.
Yep. The headline spec.
The R5 is the clear winner here, no contest. It gives you a 45 megapixel sensor. That's huge.
It is, almost 90% more pixels than the R6 Mark II.
And that matters if you're doing, say, large format prints.
Great.
Or maybe architecture where you need every tiny detail.
Yeah.
Or if you crop heavily in post.
Definitely. For that kind of work, 45 megapixels gives you incredible flexibility. But let's not dismiss the R6 Mark II's 24 megapixels too quickly.
Still professional grade, you'd say.
Oh, absolutely. You can easily make beautiful 20 by 30 inch prints from a 24 megapixel file. Plenty of resolution for most professional jobs. And actually, that lower resolution is key to some of its other strengths. Well, think about the physical size of the pixels on the sensor. With fewer pixels packed into the same full-frame area, each individual pixel on the R6 Mark II is physically larger. Significantly larger, in fact. About 86% more surface area per pixel compared to the R5. It's 36 square micrometers versus roughly 19 for the R5.
And bigger pixels mean?
Better light gathering capability. Simple physics, really. They just slurp up more photons, especially when light is scarce.
So that translates directly to low light performance.
Exactly. In the real world, this means the R6 Mark II gives you noticeably cleaner images at higher ISOs. We're talking very usable shots up to, say, ISO 12,800. Its native range actually goes up to 102,400, which is double the R5's native cap of 51,200.
So the R5 might capture more fine detail in perfect light, like a studio setup or a bright landscape.
Right. More tonal gradations there, potentially.
But when things get tricky, like shooting an event with mixed or low lighting, the R6 Mark II has the edge, especially for pulling details out of shadows later.
Precisely. That shadow recovery in post is a big deal for wedding and event photographers. It's just more forgiving when the lighting isn't ideal.
Okay, interesting trade-off there. Now let's shift gears to speed. Action shooting. This is where things get really interesting, I think.
Yeah, this is where the R6 Mark II really makes its case.
So mechanical shutter speed. Both cameras hit a very respectable 12 frames per second. That's solid for pro work.
Totally standard, yeah. Gets the job done for a lot of situations.
But then you flip that switch to the electronic shutter, and the R6 Mark II just takes off. 40 frames per second, 4 down.
So double the R5's 20 fps, which, 20 fps is already pretty fast.
It is. But 40 fps, that's a massive jump for capturing that absolute peak moment. A bird taking flight, the ball hitting the bat, that split-second expression.
It's a phenomenal number. But we should probably add a little context here, shouldn't we?
The caveats.
Well, just the physics of it. You hear 40 fps electronic and you think, amazing, I'll use that all the time. But there are trade-offs.
You mean rolling shutter, that distortion effect you can get with fast movement.
Exactly. Any electronic shutter running that fast risks some degree of rolling shutter. If your subject is whipping across the frame really fast, or if you're panning quickly, those 40 fps shots might show some skew or wobble.
So the R5's 20 fps might actually be safer sometimes for perfectly clean shots of, say, a speeding race car.
Potentially, yes. It's often seen as a very capable, reliable speed. But for subjects that aren't moving perfectly linearly across the frame, think wildlife, some sports action, unpredictable moments that 40ps can be pure gold. It's a specialized tool, maybe not an everyday setting for every shot.
Got it. It's about knowing when to deploy it.
Right. And speaking of deployment and reliability, let's talk about something maybe less glamorous but super important, battery life.
Ah, yes, the bane of mirrorless shooters everywhere.
Well, the R6 Mark II offers a significant advantage here. Based on the standard SIPA testing method, it's rated for 580 shots per charge.
Wow, okay. And the R5?
The R5 is rated at 320 shots.
That's a huge difference. What is that, like 80% more shots from the R6 Mark II?
81%, yeah. Think about shooting a long wedding day or a full-day event. Fewer battery changes means less hassle, less gear to carry, and crucially, less chance of missing a shot while you're swapping batteries. It adds up.
No kidding. And the R6 Mark II has another trick up its sleeve for capturing the moment, doesn't it? That pre-shooting buffer thing?
Oh yeah, that's a really clever feature, exclusive to the R6 Mark II in this comparison.
How does that work exactly?
Yeah.
For someone who hasn't used it.
Okay, so imagine the camera is kind of constantly recording a short loop of images to its internal memory buffer before you fully press the shutter button, like maybe a half a second or up to 3 seconds worth, depending on settings.
Right.
So when you finally press the shutter all the way down to take the picture, the camera doesn't just save that moment. It also saves the images from that half second before you pressed it.
Oh, wow. So if you react just a fraction too late.
Exactly. Think about wildlife photography, a bird suddenly taking flight. Or maybe trying to capture a baby's fleeting smile. You often react just after the peak moment. This feature basically turns those near misses into captures. It grabs the moments leading up to your reaction.
That sounds incredibly useful for unpredictable subjects.
It really can be a genuine lifesaver in certain situations.
Okay, let's pivot now. Video. This feels like maybe the most polarizing difference between these two. It's ambition versus practicality almost.
That's a good way to put it. The R5 is definitely the ambition play here.
It offers true 8K video recording internally, which is, well, still pretty cutting edge.
Yeah.
And it does proper 4.2.2 10-bit internal recording too.
Which gives you a ton of color information for grading and post-production. Very professional level specs.
And that 8K, even if you deliver in 4K, gives you amazing oversampled 4K quality, right? Plus the ability to crop in significantly. Future-proofing too.
Absolutely. The potential quality from the R5's video is phenomenal, and it's a big but.
The overheating, the recording limits.
Yeah. That's been the R5's Achilles heel since launch, hasn't it? Thermal management. Especially when you're pushing it hard with 8K or even high frame rate 4K like 60p or 120p. It's subject to recording time limits.
Even with firmware updates, that's still a factor.
It's better than it was at launch, definitely. They've improved it. But the fundamental physics haven't changed. Pushing that much data through generates heat, and eventually the camera needs to stop to cool down. How long you can record depends heavily on the mode, the ambient temperature, things like that. Sometimes it's 20-30 minutes, sometimes longer.
So if you're a videographer shooting, say, a long interview, a conference presentation, a wedding ceremony, that's potentially a deal breaker, right? You just can't have the camera shutting down mid-take.
For many professionals in those fields, yes, it's a serious concern. You need reliability above all else, and that's precisely where the R6 Mark II steps in.
Because it offers
unlimited recording time. Within the limits of your battery and memory card, of course. But crucially, no thermal limits across all its supported video formats, including its maximum 4K UHD.
That's huge. For documentary work, event coverage, long-form content creators, just hit record and forget about it.
It's a massive practical advantage for those users. Peace of mind. And Canon added a couple of nice little ergonomic touches for video shooters on the R6 Mark II as well.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, there's a dedicated physical switch on the body to go between photo and video modes. Sounds small, but it's much quicker than diving into menus when you're working fast.
Yeah, that's handy.
And it introduced automatic lens breathing correction electronically for compatible RF lenses, which helps give you smoother, more cinematic-looking focus pulls without that distracting shift in framing.
Nice touch. Okay, what about high frame rates for slow motion?
Good question. The R5 can do 4K video at up to 120 frames per second. Really nice, high-quality slow-mo.
And the R6 Mark II?
The R6 Mark II can actually go even faster, up to 180 frames per second, but only in full HD 1080p resolution.
Ah, so a trade-off again. More speed, but less resolution for slow motion on the R6 Mark II.
Exactly. You choose which is more important for your slow motion needs. 4K quality or maximum frame rate.
Okay, we've covered sensors, speed, reliability, video. Let's get down to the physical stuff. Handling, storage, and the all-important price tag.
Right, the practicalities. In the hand, they actually feel very similar.
Yeah, build quality seems top-notch on both. Magnesium alloy bodies, good weather sealing. They share that professional feel. And both have Canon's excellent 8-stop in-body image stabilization, right?
Yep. The eye-by-IBs is fantastic on both. Dimensions and weight are almost identical too, but there are a few key handling differences that kind of point back to their target users.
Like the top LCD screen on the R5.
Exactly. The R5 has that secondary information display on the top plate. A lot of photographers coming from higher-end DSLRs really like that for quickly checking settings like ISO, aperture, shutter speed, without having to look at the main rear screen or through the viewfinder. It's a classic pro feature.
And the R5 also has the slightly better electronic viewfinder, doesn't it? Higher resolution.
It does. 5.76 million dots on the R5's EVF versus 3.69 million on the R6 Mark II. And the R5's rear screen is slightly larger and higher resolution too. So visually, the R5 gives you a slightly more premium viewing experience.
So what are the key physical differences on the R6 Mark II besides lacking the top screen?
Well, we mentioned the dedicated photo-video switch. The other big thing is the hot shoe. The R6 Mark II features Canon's newer multi-function hot shoe.
It isn't just for flashes anymore.
Right. It has additional electronic contacts that allow for direct connection of digital audio accessories, like specialized microphones. That means potentially cleaner audio recorded straight into the camera, bypassing internal preamps. It's a nod towards hybrid shooters and future accessories.
Interesting. Okay, storage. This is a big workflow and cost factor.
Huge. The R5 needs to handle those massive 45 megapixel files and potential 8K video data streams, so it requires one CF Express Type B card slot.
Which are fast, but expensive.
Very fast, very expensive. It also has a second slot for a standard SD UHS 2 card.
And the R6 Mark II?
Because it's dealing with smaller 24 megapixel files and max 4K video, it runs perfectly well on dual SD UHS 2 card slots.
Which are much more affordable and widely available.
Exactly. So the media cost for the R6 Mark II is significantly lower. That's a real budget consideration.
Speaking of budget, let's talk price.
Yeah.
The initial cost difference is pretty substantial.
It is. Looking at the typical launch MSRPs, the R5 came in around $3,899 for the body only. The R6 Mark II launched at $2,499.
So that's a $1,400 difference. $1,400, that's not pocket change.
Not at all. That's a significant saving right off the bat. But you also need to think about the longer-term costs. Meaning the storage space those files take up. 45 megapixel RAW files are considerably larger than 24 megapixel ones. Over time, that means needing more hard drive space, maybe faster computers to process them smoothly.
So the R6 Mark II's smaller files can actually lead to lower ongoing costs for storage and computing power, too.
Potentially, yes, especially if you're a high-volume shooter. Those savings in time and money for data management can really add up.
Okay, let's try and tie all this together. We've got the R5 as the kind of spec monster, the technical powerhouse. And the R6 Mark II is the efficient, reliable workhorse, maybe?
That's a pretty good summary, yeah.
So if you're a professional listening to this, trying to decide where to put your hard-earned money, how do you make the call based on your actual job?
Okay, let's try some direct recommendations based on what we've discussed. You should probably lean towards the R5 if you're primarily a commercial or studio photographer where clients might specifically demand or expect those ultra-high-resolution files, or if you're a dedicated landscape shooter wanting maximum detail for huge prints.
And if 8K video is a genuine requirement for your workflow, maybe for future-proofing or heavy post-production work like significant cropping or stabilization?
Right. The R5 excels where maximum resolution and controlled shooting conditions are the priority.
Okay. And who should be seriously considering the R6 Mark II?
You should definitely choose the R6 Mark II if you shoot weddings or events. That reliability, the amazing battery life, the better low-light performance, the unlimited video recording for ceremonies or speeches, those are huge advantages.
Photojournalists too, maybe, needing reliability in smaller files for quick transmission.
Absolutely. And sports or wildlife photographers, that 40p's burst speed, even with the caveats, can be invaluable. Plus the better low-light autofocus performance and general operational speed. For these fields, reliability and efficiency often trump raw pixel count.
So it really boils down to that core conflict again. The R5 wins on the spec sheet. 8K, 45 megapixels, it's the ultimate camera in that sense.
Yep, it holds the crown for highest specs.
But the R6 Mark II wins on operational factors.
Yeah.
The speed, the unlimited recording, the battery life, the overall workflow efficiency, and the lower cost. It's maybe the smarter tool for many working pros.
I think that's fair. And that leads us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Given that very significant $1,400 price difference between the R5 body and the R6 Mark II body, ask yourself this. Could that $1,400 saving potentially make a bigger impact on your actual image quality if you invested it in a truly top-tier RF lens instead?
The classic glass versus body debate.
Exactly. A superb lens will elevate your photos regardless of whether it's mounted on a 24 megapixel or a 45 megapixel camera. Is the extra resolution of the R5 truly necessary for what you deliver to clients? Or would that money be better spent on glass that fundamentally improves sharpness, contrast, and low light capability across the board?
That's a really powerful point to consider. It forces you to think about where your budget delivers the most tangible return for your specific needs and clients.
It's all about optimizing the whole system, not just one component.
A perfect place to leave it. Both are clearly exceptional cameras, fantastic tools, but the right choice really hinges on understanding your own shooting priorities and where that investment truly counts. Thanks for diving deep with us today.